country.
The passion runs so deep, man. So much history, pageantry.
1 week closer to kickoff.
That's the way we answer.
It starts with culture.
It's a mentality, it's a way of life, it's a DNA.
College football free agency. Transfer portal.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins.
Say that. Say that again. Coaches only. Players only. Everybody. It's time.
College football is different. They're
Welcome back for a new college football episode of Bet the Line, brought to you by Robbins Properties. If you're looking for a house, townhome, or apartment to rent or own in the central Iowa area, they are the people that will take care of you. That is Robbins Properties. I'm your co-host, Mike.
I'm your other co-host, Jake.
I'm Q.
And AP poll, top 25 came out. We're big people about, like, we don't really care about rankings until, what would you say, week 3, week 4? Somewhere around there.
If it was me, week 6.
Week 6. What about you, Q?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like preseason rankings, but I do agree they don't matter until about like week 6.
Right.
Week 5, week 6. But, I mean, you also have these week 1, week 0 matchups that are ranked, like LSU, Clemson. And so I don't know. But, I mean, yeah. I mean, just flat out preseason rankings are not important, though.
Yeah, so I'll go over the AP top 25 with you guys since it finally came out, and then you guys can let me know how you guys feel about it. So, number 1, I know we picked up on it last episode, but Texas, I feel like that's right. It's probably the only team that would be right for preseason rankings is what you would call it. So you have number 1, Texas, number 2, Penn State. Actually, let's do this. When you disagree with something, just interrupt me and tell me why you disagree. So you have number 1, Texas, number 2, Penn State, number 3, Ohio State, number 4, Clemson, number 5, Georgia, number 6, Notre Dame, number 7, Oregon, number 8, Alabama, 9, LSU, 10, Miami, 11, Arizona State, 12, Illinois, 13, South Carolina. Okay.
I disagree with 12 and 13.
Why is that?
I'm not going to touch on Illinois yet because we're about to go into our Big Ten preview. But South Carolina, I talked about it in the SEC preview. I just think they're overrated. I'm not impressed with how much they lost. I mean, Lenore Sellers is fun. Dylan Stewart could be, best defensive player in college football, but I think both of those teams are overrated. I think everything up to that it's about right. Like it's everything you can do with a preseason ranking.
Okay. So 12, Illinois, 13, South Carolina. Obviously, Jake disagrees. Then you go 14, Michigan, 15, Florida.
Yeah.
I had to make sure there after last episode.
Sorry, go ahead.
16, SMU, 17, Kansas State, 18, Oklahoma, 19, Texas A&M, 20, Indiana, 21, Ole Miss, 22, Iowa State, 23, Texas Tech, which we'll talk about them in a little bit. That'll be an interesting team. And then 24 and 25, you had 24 with good old Rocky Top, Tennessee, and then 25, Boise State. What are you guys' thoughts? I'll just put it all out there right now.
Big picture, generally, I think it's fine. I do like, so the coaches poll, I think Clemson was at 6, if I'm not mistaken. So I like that they switched that up because I think this is a little more accurate to Clemson's talent. Also switched up Ohio State and Penn State, which I also think is accurate. We know Ohio State's got receivers, but I think there's a big question mark at QB1. And Penn State returns a lot, and the one position group that they struggled with last year, receiver, they seem to have addressed in the portal. So I do like that Penn State's at 2, but it's really not that big of a switch. But I think they got it right.
Q.
I like them. I think it's the best that they could possibly put those rankings in terms of preseason. So I don't think they're bad. I think a lot of teams are in there just purely based off of potential. You had 6 and 7 Oklahoma being ranked top 20. You have 8 and 5 Florida being top 15, which is kind of crazy. So, I mean, those teams are simply just ranked off of potential, which, I mean, we saw what happened to Florida State last year. That was just pure potential that they're ranked 10th for. So, I don't know. I mean, I am high on Florida, kind of. I am high on Oklahoma. I don't think they deserve those rankings. Just, I don't know. They're unproven teams. They didn't really prove anything last year. So, but I mean, it's pretty solid for what you can do for preseason rankings.
Do you like Oregon sitting at the 7th spot?
I do. I mean, I knew we were going to be top 10, and I figured we weren't going to be top 5. So I like it. We lost a lot of players. I mean, same thing with like what Jake said, our quarterback situation is also a question mark. So I think 7th is fair.
I guess the receiving votes for the bottom of the top 25 would be BYU, Utah, Baylor, Louisville, USC, and then Georgia Tech. So those are some to talk about. Missouri, Tulane, Nebraska are there too. So let's get into conference overview.
Jumping in, we're going to start with the Big 12. I feel like year in, year out, it's the most exciting conference of the Power Four, only because you can make a case for about 3/4 of the conference. Last year, Arizona State was picked dead last at the Big 12 Media Days, turned out to win the conference, make the college football playoff. Seems like the Big 12 never really has like a competitor is the same as, Big 10, SEC. I'm going to say Clemson. I'm not going to say the ACC itself, but nonetheless, like I said, it's always an exciting conference because you can make a case for 14 of the 16 teams right here today on why they're going to win it. And I'd probably hear you out. That being said, I'll start out with Arizona State. Kenny Dillingham, year 3. Obviously, they lose Cam Skattebo, but bring back Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson. They're going to be one of the most exciting duos in college football this year. I actually don't see them being what they were in 2024. If you go and actually look at their schedule in 2024, they had 6 wins in 1-score games. And I just feel like that's something at the college level that, you can't really repeat going into the next year. We're talking about Arizona State a lot different today if they lose one of those. It's somebody else in the Big 12 championship last year. So I think Arizona State is going to be good, but I just think that they're not going to be as good as what they were.
I agree with you. They're going to be good. I don't know if I agree with them being ranked that high. I see them at like a 17, 16 type team. But yeah, I mean, the Big 12 is open. I feel like any team in the Big 12 can win it. So we can talk about Texas Tech. I know they're a favorite, $55 million NIL deal team, very large. What are you guys' thoughts on, that team in general, that spending that much money? That's more than the Ohio State team last year, which we thought, what was that team, like $37 million or something? And we thought that was outrageous. And they just doubled that pretty much.
I think if there's a conference where you can buy a team, this is the one.
Yeah.
The oil money runs deep down there. But to me, Texas Tech is just the Texas A&M of the Big 12. Every year someone wants to pick Texas Tech as the darling team. And I know that this year there's real reason for it, for what they did in the portal. But it seems like every year they're 7-5, 8-4. So Texas Tech's a team that I'm not going to buy stock in, only because I'll believe it when I see it.
If you can sell me on Texas Tech, go for it, but I'm not going to buy into them on paper because I feel like they will still find a way to go 7-5. Another team that you can try to sway me on that's getting a lot of hype, I don't know why, is Baylor. I know their quarterback coming back is a stud. I know they return a lot too, but I don't know. Somebody make me buy into Baylor because I kind of want them to be back to where they were when they had Corey Coleman, top 5 every year. So what's up with Baylor this year?
I'm not going to be the one to sell you on Baylor.
I'm not either. I have their schedule here.
I'm with you, Q. I think Baylor plays Auburn week 1. So like if you start out week 1-0, that's a good win non-conference.
Their schedule's rough. They have Auburn week 1, like you just said, at home, and then they go to SMU. So, and then you get a little easy break with Sanford, and then, you go directly to Arizona State to start the Big 12 play. So
Baylor's non-conference games are all against Power 4 opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Baylor is one of those darlings right now for the Big 12 that a lot of people are kind of picking as like an under-the-radar team. I don't know. It's the Big 12, right? So, like, if they did make it to the conference championship, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
Yeah.
I don't personally have them going there.
They have Samford.
Oh, Samford. I thought you said Stanford.
Nope, Samford.
Gotcha. But yeah, I Baylor and TCU to me are kind of in the same boat of like, I think they're probably going to be like 8-4, 9-3. They're going to be there. They're not going to be in Dallas at the end of the year. TCU is an interesting team to me. So Josh Hoover kind of reminds me a little bit of Eli Holstein in the fact of like, you should be watching TCU football this year just so that you can watch him. He just under 4,000 yards passing last year. I also think that Sonny Dykes, I think Sonny Dykes is a great coach. We saw TCU in the national championship a couple of years ago. They got smoked, but I think we're going to see TCU return to, competing for the conference championship once again.
It's a bold take.
Yeah. There's a couple teams I'm going to save until the end. We'll talk about Kansas State. Kansas State, another team every year, always consistent, always right in that mix. Avery Johnson. I love Avery Johnson. Kansas State for me is kind of like they're the Big 12 team that's been there. The Kansas State and Oklahoma State, I really expected to like carry the reins of the conference after Oklahoma and Texas left. And I think Kansas State has obviously done a much better job of that after Oklahoma State's year last year. But for me, it's Avery Johnson. Like he's everything to that offense, and if he can be a stud, I like Kansas State to be there in Dallas for the conference championship.
It does. You're 100% right. It comes down to how good Avery Johnson can be. I know last year, true freshman, showed glimpses of like, hey, you're the quarterback of the future for this program, and then showed glimpses of like what a young freshman quarterback would do, make mistakes and not know when to throw the ball away and on a scramble or something like that. So I think his development in this offseason is very important for Kansas State, and we're going to see right away because they go right into Big 12 play against Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State's another one that's going to be up there in terms of conference championship hopes. Their schedule is, it's pretty favorable. They got Arizona State at home. They don't have Utah. They got K-State right off the rip, though. That'll be tough. But, they should be up there. They have Rocco Beck back. They have, what's that linebacker's name? that went down game one last year. Bacon. Yeah, Bacon. Yep, so they have him back. Rush defense should be there. I don't know how their secondary is going to be, but they got a nice transfer portal pickup for receiver and Chase Sowell, so they should be right there. If they can take care of their schedule, I mean, they'll make it back to the Big 12 championship game.
I think so. With Iowa State, I think obviously Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, Rocco's biggest targets last year, 2,000-yard receivers, both in the NFL now. That's going to be the biggest thing offensively to replace them. You know, they were, I don't know the full number, but let's say it was 75% of the receiving yards of the team between those two guys that you now have to replace. I actually kind of hate Iowa State's schedule, specifically the front end. So you're going to Ireland week 0, which we're going to talk about later on, to play Kansas State. You then come back for week 1 against South Dakota, and then you play Iowa week 2. So I think what I'm worried about, no matter the result of what happens in Ireland, you come back for South Dakota and you have your biggest game of the year, week 2. Like, you're already looking forward or looking ahead to week 2. And you got an FCS team that's going to be knocking at the door. You know, FCS teams always fight hard because it's their one nationally televised game of the year. I just think it would be the most Iowa State thing ever to overlook South Dakota week 1 and lose. Even if they don't lose, like, I think it's going to be a battle because you're coming back from Ireland. It's a short week. You know, you're adjusting to the time. Like, those first 3 games are a lot harder than they seem, specifically the South Dakota game. But
Iowa State usually always starts slow at the beginning of the year. Like last year, I went to their home opener versus North Dakota. Never forget it. The spread was minus 20.5 for North Dakota. I'm like, oh, sweet, easy. They're up 21-0 the entire game, won 21-3.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just like, but that's just how they start their season. You know, like a team like North Dakota, if they played them at the end of the year, they'd probably win 49-7. But
yeah.
And it's a team that
I
made the Big 12 championship last year and is not going into a full rebuild. Like, a lot of people coming back, so.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump to my Colorado Darlings. Colorado Buffaloes, year 3 with Coach Prime. Everybody's talked about it. The big thing is going to be replacing not only Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter, but also Jimmy Horn Jr., Will Shepard, LeJontay Wester. They lost everybody from the passing attack last year. Luckily, I think they have the guys that can replace them, like Draylon Miller, Omarion Miller. Like, we saw them in games the last 2 years, play meaningful snaps and, you know, be a good part of the offense. So I think they're going to be able to replace the receivers well. Talked about this in episode 1, but we did get a transfer from Liberty, Kadon Salter. I think he's going to be really good for the program. If for some reason he's not, they brought in Juju Lewis, 5-star true freshman. I don't think they're going to turn to him, which I think that would be best for everybody. But then I unless you're a Buffs fan, you probably won't know these names. But I think we're going to be a lot better off than people really think we are. So we got Micah Welch, Jordan Seaton, Xavier Hill, Jaheim Otis, DJ McKinney, Carter Stoutmeyer, Preston Hodge. Like, we have guys at every position that are going to help kind of carry the torch into the next era without the Sanders boys and Travis Hunter. So I think we're going to be better off than people think we are. I do think the Buffs probably only go like 7-5, maybe 8-4, but everyone wants to say that CU is going to have like a huge fall off after losing them. I don't see it. I think this is going to be the best Colorado's trenches have been under Deion's tenure, and I think that's what's going to make the difference this year. There's a team I'm saving. There's two more teams I want to talk about before we get into them. So, first team would be BYU. They did lose, was it Jake Retzlaff
Yep.
to Tulane? You know, BYU code of conduct issues, kicked him out of school. It sounds like it's McKay Hillstead that they're going to turn to. I believe he's the 5-star that's like 5'9", so he's kind of catching some flack already and has never actually played a game for him just for being short. But he's a 5-star, so like that kind of tells me all I need to know. But I also think Kalani Sitake has proven that he's a great head coach with what he's done at BYU in the short time he's been there. So I think BYU is another team that like they're going to be in the mix, and not to beat the dead horse, but if you were to tell me right here, right now, BYU is going to be in the Big 12 championship, I wouldn't be shocked.
I think anybody would.
One more team, Oklahoma State. Talked about this in episode number 1, just looking at their preseason win total, which is sitting at 4.5. Here's a stat for you. Mike Gundy's been at Oklahoma State since 2005. Only 2 times has he not won 7 games or more. That was his first year, 2005, and that was last year, 2024. To me, Oklahoma State is the team that they're the team that when you're not talking about them, that's when they make the Big 12 championship. And when you are talking about them, that's where they have an underwhelming season. If there's a coach in the Big 12 that I'm not betting against, it's Mike Gundy.
I mean, I bet for him last year because Oklahoma State had 20 out of 22 returning starters last year. They were like plus 2,800 to win the Big 12. I'm like, oh, they're returning the most production in the nation.
Preseason rank.
Yeah, preseason rank.
Ollie Gordon.
No. What'd they go? 4 and whatever?
3-9. Started out 3-0. Lost 9 straight.
So I'll never bet on Mike Gundy ever again because of that, dude. I'm taking under 4.5 for Oklahoma State this year.
I'm a value bettor. That's a value play in my books.
Yeah.
Talk about
All
the
right,
Jayhawks.
fellas. Let's talk about the Jayhawks.
Let's talk about the Jayhawks. I think we're going to have a great year. Everyone's talking about, hey, this might be a rebuild year for Kansas. We lost Grimm. We lost a defensive back. And I think we lost Skinner. I think we're going to be all right. So last year, Jalen Daniels back for the first time in a while. We started out the season rough, and I think it was because Jalen Daniels was scared to take a hit from his past injury history. And then all of a sudden, we went on a run. We beat Iowa State. We beat Colorado. We beat BYU. And it almost felt like the momentum with Jalen Daniels' confidence switched. That leads me to this year. We have Jalen Daniels. He's healthy. He's taking a hit. He's not scared. He stayed healthy for a full season. Let's get that past us. We lost Neal. We have Daniel Highshaw Jr. back. Then we go and get the backup running back from Iowa in the portal. He is now at Kansas. That is LaShawn Williams. So now we're remind you, our defense is pretty much all back, besides an edge. We go and get an Auburn edge. We have Carson Brown, who thought about coming on the podcast. He's bulked up this offseason. He's looked good in camp. He might be our starting tight end. Not sure. We have a tight end that transferred in from Arizona. He could be good. And then we have this guy from Albany named Levi Wentz, wide receiver. I think he'll be our wide receiver too. He's looked great. And then Coach Lance was like, you know what? We need a dog. Went out and got Emmanuel Henderson from Bama. And I think this could be our year. I know Q's waiting on it because I gave him my prediction over our schedule, and I'll run through it right now if you boys want me to. So we have Fresno will win, and then I think who do we have game 2? Southern Mississippi, I believe, or something like that. We'll beat them, and then we go away to Missouri. I I think we can get past that. West Virginia, we win. Cincinnati, we win. UCF, we win. Texas Tech, 6-0. It's a big game for us. If we can get past that one, I think we're in the Big 12 championship. Because I think we
You
only
still got 6 more games after
yeah,
that.
but we have
If we can
Kansas
get
State.
past that, we're the
But listen,
Big 12.
we have Texas
First
Tech on the
six,
road,
we're
right?
in.
We have Texas Tech on the road. If we can get past that, then all we have is Kansas State at home, which I think we'll win. New stadium, rivalry.
When was the last time you guys beat Kansas State?
Just listen to me here. Then we have your Oklahoma State, over 4.5.
That's an
Can't be that tough of a win there, right? Then we go
That's an
to Arizona. That's a tough one. This is where I think we get rocky here. It'll be a tough one. I don't know if we'll win that one. But we have to win the Texas Tech or the Arizona game on the road. One of those two, because then we go to Iowa State. I think we lose that game. And then we finish with Utah at home. The schedule's there. The team's there. And let me tell you something. If it's not this year, it's next year, because we had a $300 million NIL fund come in for the football program. All right, boys?
I just think, like, I have never seen a college dump $300 million into a school that goes like 5-7 every year. Like, I don't get, like, it's great that you guys got those players. You guys will still find a way to go 6-6, because I don't think you can rattle off your schedule and say, oh, Cincinnati win, oh, UCF win. I don't think you can rattle through those games as fast as you did when those are the teams that you guys lost to last year. And you guys had even more preseason hype last year, and you say it's the same team this year. Well, that same team last year lost to those teams you rattled through. So I just think, like, I love your optimism. I think it's going to be another repeat of last year. You guys are going to start slow and then find your momentum when it's too late.
I think your season is going to hinder on Jalen Daniels.
Oh, 100%.
He makes or breaks you. I mean, if he's healthy all year, I could see a world where Kansas goes 9-3. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the nature of what the Big 12 is there's a team that we're overlooking right now and I don't know who that team is. Like, it's the Big 12. Somebody's going to come on that we're not talking about that's going to go 9-3 as well. And, could be one of Kansas' first 6 games. I don't know. But I see, with Kansas, I mean, I see where their floor is 3-9 and their ceiling's 9-3.
Yeah. The path is there.
A lot of other teams in the Big – a lot of
no
teams
Arizona State, no BYU. Like, that's
Right.
huge.
I don't know. I mean, I love that you're optimistic, Mike. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I'm optimistic. I got a hefty bet out there. Future. Tune in episode
would
1
like
if
to-
you haven't.
What's the bet?
I have Kansas winning the Big 12. Put 150 on it to win like $4,000, $5,000, something like that.
I forgot you did that. You shouldn't have done that. But
Yeah, you should have just donated it to us.
yeah, next time you ever want to do that, just Venmo us each
Yeah.
and then say sports gambling.
I'll buy myself a nice steak dinner with it.
All right, we're going to move on from Kansas. Sorry, Mike. We're going to talk about the team that's actually going to win the Big 12. Every year, and I said this at the start, every year you can make a case for any team to win the Big 12. I lied. That's not this year. Q, you're exactly right, dude. Kyle Whittingham and the Utah Utes are going to run through the Big 12 this year.
They sure are.
He sat there and took his licks last year, and they're coming. Talked about it in episode 1. Devin Dampier, transfer from New Mexico. Not the greatest passer in the world, elite rusher as a quarterback. Had over 1,100 yards last year. I think he had 19 rushing touchdowns. We're officially in a new era of Utah football. We're done with Cam Rising. The sun is shining once again. The Utah team is insane. So Spencer Fano and Caleb Lamu, whatever it is, they are the best offensive tackle duo in the country. They're going to be both of them are going to be first round picks next year. They actually return all 5 offensive linemen, and combined, they all total over 100 combined starts. Like, that is experienced as it gets. And what matters to Kyle Whittingham and his program is playing smash mouth football. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to play smash mouth football.
I mean, I can't win people over with Utah any better than what you just said. I love Devin Dampier as well. But he will have to improve his passing game. But I mean, that O-line is going to be huge. Like, if they can give him time to throw and he doesn't have to, I don't know, kind of ramp through his progressions, I think he'll be fine. I love Utah this year.
Couldn't disagree.
I think I will go on record right now and say that Utah is going to be 11-1 or 12-0 this year. I think a lot of people don't want to say that yet, only because of going 4-8 or 5-7 last year. But they're one of the teams that, on the flip side of Arizona State, like, they lost all the close games, and their offense couldn't do anything. Where you win 2 of those, we're looking at Utah a lot differently heading into this year than remembering that they missed a bowl game for the first time in who knows how long. But I think a lot of people forget when they were in the Pac-12, they went toe-to-toe with everybody in the Pac-12, and they won it the 2 of the last 3 years of its existence. Like, it wasn't just like they competed. Like, they were winning the battle in the trenches, which is the biggest battle on the field, against the USCs of the world, against the Washingtons, against everybody who they would play against. Like, I think last year was the anomaly. This year is the return to what Utah football is.
And they have Texas Tech, Arizona State, and Kansas State all at home.
Yeah,
so, I mean, their schedule's there.
Yeah, Utah for me, I mean, I can officially say Utah's my Big 12 champ. And it's not, to me, it's not just like a default Big 12 champ that, all right, you're in the playoff. It's like no, Utah is in the playoff for real to compete, not just to be the sacrificial lamb.
Who do you have them playing in the Big 12 championship?
Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Yeah.
I have them playing Arizona State.
I'm playing Kansas.
That will also – oh, wait, no. Yeah, will that be a back-to-back?
Yep.
Yeah. Damn.
Back.
It won't be a bit back-to-back because it won't happen.
All right, dude.
Any other Big 12 teams that you guys want to talk about that we missed?
I don't want to talk long on it, but Arizona, I mean, I feel like obviously everybody knows they lost McMillan. I don't know how – and their head coach. So it'd be interesting to see how they recover from that.
Yeah, I mean, Jed Fish leaving. Jed Fish built something at Arizona that, like, not a lot of people can do. Like, they're just not a football school. So him leaving to take the Washington job last year kind of put the program in shambles. And, yeah, McMillan stayed along with Fafita, which Fafita for some reason is still at Arizona, which is kind of crazy to me. But, yeah, they're the bottom feeder of the conference. They're the one team where you cannot convince me they have any shot.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how backwards that program goes. Big Ten? Want to talk Big Ten?
Big Ten.
The team I want to talk about first is actually Penn State because they're interesting. I mean, they have the guys there. They got they got their entire backfield back with Drew Aller, Singleton, and then who was that other one that he came back to? Not Singleton, but their other running back who got just as many carries. He came back to. They got a nice receiver addition in the portal. Defense is there. Lost Abdul Carter, but I mean their defense will still be there. Always has been. They got the guys there on paper. I mentioned their record earlier. I mean, they lose the games that they're supposed to lose, and they win the games that they're supposed to win, which, I mean, it works. They made it to the playoffs, made it to the Big Ten championship game, but I don't know. I just think – I don't know. I think this year will tell a lot for James Franklin because he has a big game at home in Oregon. Start off the year, week 4. He has a big game there. He has another big game at Ohio State, and then he'll likely make the playoffs, maybe the Big Ten championship game. So the big games are there for James Franklin. It's going to be, can they win them to change the narrative that he can't win any big games?
Yeah, I love Penn State this year. I think the big question is, what did you do to address the issue at wide receiver? I mean, I know they went in the portal, but I got to see it on the field. I think Drew Aller, to be completely honest, is a little unfairly judged. Like, a lot of people kind of want to convince me that he's not a good quarterback, and it's like, well, we didn't watch the same games last year. Like, he's a good quarterback. He literally only had a tight end to throw the ball to. Like, right. You can only do so much when you're only throwing the ball to Tyler Warren. Like, you need talent on the outside as well. So if they upgraded the wide receiver position, which is, I mean, I know they went in the portal to do so, but if that's actually the case with the on-field product, I love Penn State. I love everything else they already have put together.
I will say, like, they have Oregon at home. I mean, that's huge. But then there's a stretch where they have Iowa and then they have Ohio State back-to-back on the road. I do think they'll lose one of those games. So,
King Stadium.
Same with Oregon. I know we're gonna talk on Oregon, but it's gonna be Oregon or Penn State at Iowa, and Iowa will beat one of those teams. So, I mean, it's just which one will it be?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice segue into Oregon. I can talk about Oregon a little bit. Oregon and actually Ohio State are bottom of the conference in returning production, which winning a national championship, that's pretty normal to be at the bottom of your conference in return production, but Oregon's down there too. Our quarterback's still kind of a question mark. Dante Moore is most likely going to start. I was really impressed with our quarterback 3, Luke Moga. I was more impressed with him than Dante Moore in the spring game, but we have the receivers, even though Evan Stewart, I don't think I addressed this last episode, but he's likely out the whole season, tore his patellar tendon about a month or 2 ago he did that, so he'll be out for the whole year. We got DeCorian Moore, the number 1 wide receiver in the class of 2024. So our defense, we got a lot of portal additions for the defense. I think our defense will be way better than last year. It's basically just the quarterback that's a question mark for Oregon this year, really. We got a pretty veteran lineup on both sides of the ball. Our schedule is super easy. We have at Penn State, but then we don't have Ohio State or Michigan. So I don't know. I think obviously Big Ten is probably the main Big 3 conference with Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. You have teams like Illinois, Indiana, Michigan on the rise, though. But I don't know. I think Oregon will obviously be in the Big Ten championship talks at the end of the year, but their schedule helps them a lot, which I'm not complaining about.
I think so. Q, you had mentioned something big there. You guys had a lot of portal additions for your defense, and I think I don't like that personally. Just to me, just in general, like the way you build a championship team is homegrown. If you're going in the portal, it's because you need a piece. You don't need an entire, revamp the defense, get 6 new starters. Like, you need a piece. We talked about Utah. Utah needed a quarterback. The infrastructure is there for Utah. They just needed the quarterback position taken care of. Penn State, we all love Penn State's roster. They just needed receivers. Like, I think Oregon this offseason, Oregon's still going to be Oregon. I just think we're going to see a step back from last year. Like, I don't think they're going to be in the Big Ten championship. I think they'll maybe miss the playoff. I mean, they'll be that 9-3. We're going to be talking about them. Are they going to sneak in? Are we not? But
9-3. Who do you have as their third loss?
Oh, we can talk about that.
I already know who it is.
So let's go through. Do you want me to go through the Oregon schedule?
I mean, you can. I know exactly who your 3 losses are.
Yeah. Well,
It's literally all the away games, basically.
yeah, so I'm only going to say 2 of them. Hey, that Oklahoma State game, week 2, sneaky. Don't.
Yeah, I'm sure it is sneaky.
No, so I got Penn State as a loss. I have the road game to Kinnick Stadium as a loss.
Yeah.
I'm going to save the last one until we talk about that team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Hugh, you touched on like the quarterback is like the big question for you guys. I think the same thing goes for Ohio State with Julian Sayin, right?
Sayin.
Yeah.
Julian Sayin. Yeah.
I think it's a big question mark. Obviously, I think Ohio State will be good, defending national championship. You have Jeremiah Smith. So, you guys have anything on them?
I don't have too much other than, to me, quarterback position. If there's a team that doesn't need a quarterback because you're throwing the ball to Jeremiah Smith and what they still have Cornell Tate, and I'm sure they're going to have 5 more first-round wide receivers on their roster.
Right.
They're going to be 10-2 at the worst.
It's kind of like Georgia. Like, doesn't matter who's under center. You have the talent around you.
Right.
I don't have much on them either, but
I wish Clayton was here so he could tell us something.
He's going to the game, so Kansas State,
But
Iowa State.
I think Ohio State's Ohio State, regardless of many factors.
their schedule is interesting. Like, it could get tricky for them.
Yeah,
Ohio State.
I have their schedule pulled up right here. Obviously, you start
I
right off the
think they
rip.
lose week 1.
Yeah, against Texas.
But I have them. I'll save it for when Jake talks about them. But I have them losing to the team that you're going to talk about here, Jake.
Yeah,
I think it's like week 4.
Any thoughts on Minnesota this year? I know it feels like they're almost same story every year.
I would just say, I think they're probably going to be another 7-5, 8-4. But I will say credit to PJ Fleck for building what he has at Minnesota. I think that's what Minnesota's potential is. Like, that's the farthest you can take him, and he's gotten them there. To me, it's a program very similar to Iowa in the fact of, like, they're always going to be a good team. They're always going to have someone come to town that's going to be on upset watch. Like, that's what he's built. He's built a consistent program, if anything.
I would like to touch on Indiana, though. I think they're interesting because they have a top 3 receiver in the conference coming back in terms of receiving yards. They had a decent quarterback transfer in Mendoza from Cal. I don't know. I feel like Indiana is going to be the Indiana as last year. I feel like they're somehow going to find a way to lose 1 or 2 games on their schedule and then basically be in the conversation for the playoffs again. I can see that folding. I can see that happening. I'm not saying it will, but I don't know. They're interesting because everybody expects them to regress this year, but I think they'll be pretty similar as last year.
I mean, I agree, Q. I really do. I love Mendoza. I think that's a great get for Indiana. Kurt Cignetti is also a great coach. I mean, he tried telling all of us last year, like, Google me, I win football games. And sure enough, they do. And I know that everybody wants to, kind of talk down on him because the only 2 games that they played last year against ranked opponents were Ohio State on the road, which they lost by like 3 touchdowns, and then Notre Dame, which they prettied up the score at the end of that game, but really is, not close. But if you go through their schedule and look at their games last year, like, they just smoked everybody. It wasn't like they just won 11 games. Like, they just destroyed inferior opponents as good teams do. I mean, 31-7, 77-3, 42-13, 52-14, 42-28, 41-24, 56-7, 31-17, 47-10. Like, it's not like they're just winning 1-score games. Like, if there was a team worse than them, they were beating them.
I think the Indiana team this year will be Nebraska. Matt Rule has extreme amount of confidence with this team. You have Dylan Raiola under center, Emmett Johnson, Dane Kay, Isaiah Hunter, and then you go to their schedule, and it is by far the easiest schedule I've ever seen. You have Cincinnati week 1 in Kansas City at Arrowhead, and then you have Akron at home, the Huskies, HCU Huskies at home. Then you have Michigan, start Big Ten play. But that's at home. It's early in the season. Bryce Underwood, freshman quarterback. Don't know how good he'll be right off the rip. And then you have your bye. And then you have Michigan State at home. You're still at home. And then you go to Maryland on the road, Minnesota on the road. And then you come back home from Northwestern and USC. And then you go to UCLA. And then to end the season, you have Penn State at Penn State. And then come home for Iowa. So, I mean, looking at their schedule here,
That's literally like a start 6-0 and 6-6 type of schedule.
I don't see them.
I mean,
losing
that back
to
half is pretty
Northwestern or
brutal.
UCLA, and I don't see them losing to USC at home either. It's going to come
I
down
think
to
they
Penn
used-
State and Iowa, and you have Iowa at home. Their only tough game on the road is Penn State.
I kind of wanted to touch on UCLA. I don't think you can go ahead, Jake.
I mean, I don't think that the Big Ten. I don't think it's like the Big 12. Like, apart from Quentin and I agreeing, like talking about Utah, on any given year, like anybody could win the Big 12. Like, it's just a crapshoot. I don't think the Big 12 is like that in that respect, but I think, like, to me, outside of the Big Three, I do think there is like a group of 7 teams that, you know, you could make a case for why they're going to be in Indianapolis at the end of the year. I just think there is a lot more parity in college football as a whole right now, but I could see Nebraska doing it. Like, year 3 of Matt Rule is what they say. Like, every other program he's been at, year 3 is when they take the step.
Yeah,
You know,
and
Nebraska finally got over the hump, won a bowl game last year.
they're all their games, like tough games besides Penn State, are all at home, and Nebraska's like home field advantage is insane. So
Right.
yeah, I love.
I mean, they've been
their
selling
schedule.
out games for the last 10 years, even though they sucked.
Yeah, I love their schedule, and I think they could be the Indiana of last year and lose one game to Penn State, and then go and beat Iowa at the end of the year, and next thing you know, that they're in the Big Ten championship.
So Mike, we talked about when you read off the rankings, I stopped you on Illinois. To me, Illinois is like the South. I'm viewing Illinois and South Carolina identical right now. Illinois preseason 12 is kind of insane to me. Again, it's just another team that everybody wants to tell me why I should fall in love with Illinois. If you actually look at their games last year, like, they're another team that, credit to them, they won all the one-score games, they won the close games, but like, we're talking about Illinois a lot differently right now. If they don't beat Purdue in overtime 50-49 because Purdue went for 2 and didn't get it, like that, we're talking about Illinois so much differently.
Same
I
with
like Luke
Kansas,
Altmaier.
Kansas at the beginning of the year. Jalen Daniels throwing a pick and then a fumble back to back.
Right. Like, I just think Illinois is destined to take a step back. I'm not buying into the hype at all. I have no idea what their preseason over-under is, but I certainly would look into the under.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I agree. I do like Altmaier, though. I think he's fun to watch.
Too.
I think he's a very smart quarterback.
It's just that, again, credit to you when you're winning one-score games, but, you know, if you flip one-score game results, when you were 6-0 one year, if you go 0-6, you're 3-9. You're not 9-3. Like,
Yeah.
Michigan, Wolverines.
I think they're going to be good.
I'm for sure buying stock.
I am buying stock. I think Bryce Underwood is the real deal.
I think he is too. Look at the games last year that, like, if they just had a competent quarterback under center, they win.
Yeah.
Like I just think that was their biggest struggle. Their defense was still good, and their defense is still going to be good. So they put all their cookies in the Bryce Underwood basket, and I love that.
He can run.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to have the us against the world mentality again now that Sharon Moore is suspended for 3 games,
Mm-hmm.
and the NCAA came out with all the sanctions on everybody who was involved in that scandal. But I love Michigan this year. I really do.
It is wild
Did you-
how. Sorry, Q. I was just gonna pick up on it's wild how I know you picked up on it, Jake, but spread out the Big Ten is. We're going over these teams, and any one of these teams can make the championship, make the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, it's just insane because it used to be SEC, and now it's converted over to the Big Ten.
Right. And I think another team that you could throw in this mix now, it's banking a lot on the fact that Lincoln Riley figures things out. But like USC is a blue blood. USC can get all the talent in the world on the West Coast. I wouldn't be shocked if USC's there. Now, again, I don't love Lincoln Riley. But the games last year, USC is a team that lost a lot of heartbreakers at the end of the game. I think I heard a stat the other day that there were, I don't know how many games total, but I think they had in 10 games, they were winning at one point in the fourth quarter, and they lost 5 of them. That's a team that just couldn't finish games. But I mean, if you watched last year, their defense finally improved, which has always been Lincoln Riley's one downfall. He's always been a great offensive mind. For some reason, he had Alex Grinch with him for 6 years, who was an awful defensive coordinator. So they got a new defensive coordinator last year, and their defense substantially improved. It was, for some reason, their offense took a step back. But they have Jaden Maiava, UNLV transfer, coming in to be a QB1 this year since Miller Moss left. I love him.
He did good last year, right?
Yeah. And I talked myself into it. We talked in episode 1 how, with Lincoln Riley on the hot seat, USC travels to Champaign, Illinois, week 4 this year. That's going to be a huge game for them. I've fully talked myself into the fact that USC is going to win that game and Illinois is going to lose it because it's going to be the start of the Illinois train going downhill and them coming back to reality.
What do you guys think of Michigan State? Revive of the program, still going to be dead.
Not with Aiden Childs at the helm. He's terrible.
I actually like Aiden Childs, but I don't like Michigan State.
Yeah, no. I don't think they'll be relevant for a long time.
Talking about revives of programs, Washington. Made it to the championship.
I've been waiting for somebody to say Washington.
Go ahead,
Washington,
Jake.
here
Go
we
ahead,
go.
Jake.
Oh, I'm all in on the Huskies this year. Starting out, I love Jed Fish. Last year was a tough year. They played in a lot of close games, but the reality is, it's his first year. The Huskies were in the national championship 2 years ago, and just their team lost so much, which, like Q said earlier, that's what happens when you're competing for a national title sometimes. You get a group of guys that come in, and everybody's a senior, and you can finally compete, and then they all leave. Also, Kalen DeBoer left, obviously, but the Washington Huskies, I have making the Big Ten championship. They have DeMond Williams Jr. at quarterback, Jonah Coleman at running back, who, if you guys are not familiar with, you should be. I think he's going to be the best running back in college football this year. They got Denzel Boston on the outside, Carver Willis addition to the offensive line in the transfer portal. I love Washington. And if you don't know, Washington, there's a technicality involved in this, but they do have the longest home winning streak in college football right now, although they lost that Husky Stadium to Washington State last year. That was technically a neutral site game. So point still stands. They're at 19 consecutive home games. So I have them going 11-1, making the Big Ten championship.
Who's their loss? The easy answer would be Ohio State, but I actually have them beating Ohio State that game.
I have them winning all the home games solely on the stat that I just gave.
It's a tough place to play.
Man, I just looked at it. Who was there? Should I say Washington State?
No. Hey, it's rivalry game. Anything can happen.
You know what? It's going to be Michigan. That's who it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's in Ann Arbor. But they have Oregon and Ohio State at home, which those are the other two hardest games on the schedule. So,
Yeah.
give me the Huskies. That beautiful Husky mascot of theirs.
Speaking of
Demon.
go ahead.
Anyways, go ahead. No, you got it.
I was just gonna say, speaking of home games on a schedule, Iowa, they have a tough schedule, but you get your tough games at home. You have Penn State at home, Indiana at home, Oregon at home, and then you go to Nebraska. You have a quarterback coming in, Mark Gronkowski, who has 2 championships in the FCS, won the Walter Payton Award over there. Likes to throw the ball. Maybe you'll see a different type of Iowa team this year. But yeah, I think they can make some noise. Like I said earlier, they're gonna beat Oregon or they're gonna beat Penn State. One of those games.
Right. Iowa's one of those teams in that second tier mix of, you can make a case for why they're gonna take a step this year and possibly appear in Indianapolis. Do I think they will? No, but yeah, certainly a 9-3 team or so that with the
By the way,
quarterback, it's going to be real interesting.
I agree. They're a 9-3 team, and I believe their over/under on total wins on the year is sitting at like 7.5. Another Big Ten team that's had a lot of talk in the offseason is UCLA with Nico going over there from Tennessee. Do you guys have any input on them?
I just want to see how he's going to do. I think LA is the perfect place for him right now, just to kind of get away from the Tennessee buzz, completely on the other side of the country, kind of clear his head. I think this will be a good situation for him. I just kind of want to see what he does with that type of team around him. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be as star-studded as the Tennessee team that he had when he made the playoffs last year, but I don't know. They're kind of on my radar just to keep an eye on. I just kind of want to see how they do with Nico. I don't know if it'll amount to much, but I don't know. He's not the worst quarterback in the conference.
Yeah, I'm with you as far as I'm going to tune into UCLA football games this year just solely to see how it works out. Mm-hmm. UCLA, not really a football school. I don't really see that changing just because they got him. I also kind of think that I don't know that there's such thing as, let's call it UCLA football Twitter. But I feel like if I followed it, they'd probably be trying to tell me that, he's the piece that they needed. And to that, I would just say, apart from the first 3 games last year when Tennessee just smoked everybody, Nico was actually just a really subpar quarterback.
Yeah.
He padded the stats in the non-conference, and then when it was time to play a real game, not saying he was bad, I'm just saying he was nothing special, which to his defense, he's a true freshman. But
you guys have any other Big Ten teams you want to talk about before we get into our, Big Ten championship prediction?
I'd like to say Maryland will be at the bottom of the conference. And serious comment about Maryland here. You want to talk about the 2 luckiest teams in this whole conference realignment era that we are in? The Maryland Terrapins and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, because you cannot tell me in 2025, if they were still in the Big East or the ACC, would they be getting an invite to the Big Ten? Absolutely not. But because they went 10 years ago, now they're just reaping the benefits.
Rutgers is so bad. I remember last year I went brain dead and thought they were good when they were started out 3-0 or something like that. And then they just absolutely got knocked against Indiana.
You were acting like they were going to be what Indiana was like last year.
Yeah. It was bad. It's probably one of my worst takes.
That was who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Q, you're our Big Ten guy. What do you have in the championship?
It's pretty obvious. The classic, the unforgettable, the good old-fashioned rematch in the Big Ten championship game. I have Oregon over Ohio State. Final score is probably going to be like 50-7. So, no, I do have Oregon over Ohio State, though.
I have Penn State defeating James Franklin, getting over the hump. My Washington Huskies.
Damn. Yeah. I just want to say I was the only person to get the Big Ten championship game right last year. I said Oregon over Penn State about halfway through the year. Just
I'm
want to
gonna
throw
tell
that
you,
out there.
I'll go with you, Q. I'm gonna take Ohio State, Oregon, but I'm gonna flip your winner and I'm gonna make it Ohio State to win 21-17, something like that.
I have Oregon and Ohio State both at 11-1. We lose to Penn State. Ohio State loses to Washington, and then I had Penn State. I had Penn State at 10-2. I had them losing to Iowa and Ohio State back-to-back games.
The only thing I was going to add is I really think that the only conference of the Power Four that's not going to be interesting is going to be the ACC.
Yeah.
Clemson's just gonna run away with it.
Yeah.
It's a race for second, and I don't care who gets second, so I'm not going to be tuning in.
Yeah, football's here. Week 0 is finally here. Let's just jump right into the game that everyone's going to be paying attention to. You have the Ireland game that's there every year. This year it'll be Kansas State versus Iowa State. I believe Kansas State is sitting at -2.5. Will probably jump up to 3.5 by game time. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Big 12 right off the rip. Conference play. I think it's gonna be a shootout.
Hey, Farmageddon in Ireland, baby. I love it. It's probably going to be like the most interesting Ireland game in a long time. It seems like it's always, I don't know, last year's I guess was okay. It was Georgia Tech and Florida State, but this to me is like the only meaningful Ireland game in week 0 that we've seen in a long time. Like this is, could make or break a season, starting out 1-0 versus 0-1 in conference play. We talked about it earlier in the episode. I really don't know what it's going to look like, but the biggest thing for Iowa State is how do you replace Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel? I mean, it helps that your running back room stayed the same. They're bringing back both Carson Hansen and Abu Sama. So, like, in theory, your offense stays the same for the most part. It's just replacing your biggest 2 pass catchers.
I can't believe both.
Yeah.
I can't believe both running backs stayed, to be honest. I figured one would hit the portal.
Running back by committee, man. They bleed 5-star culture.
Q, what are your thoughts on this? I know you're a big Iowa State advocate, so.
I think it'll be interesting because, they played each other as the last regular season game last year, and that was a phenomenal game to watch with the amount of implications it had on that. And now they play to start the regular season. So, I don't know. I can see it. I know you mentioned a shootout, Mike.
49.5. That's what it's sitting at.
I think it's going to be a 17-10 type of game.
Under.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I just think with where it's set at, you have 18 to 21-year-olds that have probably never played outside of the United States before. And you have all of these guys going over to Ireland to play. I don't know. I mean, I think last year, what was the score, like 25-23? So it actually wasn't terrible, but I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to see how slow each team starts, especially because I mentioned earlier, Iowa State always starts slow at the start of the year. Now, their biggest test, with the amount of implications this holds, you can't really afford to start slow. So I don't know if we'll see a new rejuvenated Iowa State at the beginning of the season this year, but I have never bought into Avery Johnson or Kansas State, and it has been in my favor. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to hating Avery Johnson until he proves me wrong. So I got Iowa State in this one.
I'm taking Iowa State.
I think
I'm going to take Iowa State minus, probably tease it up to like 3.5, maybe 5.5, and then take the under.
Kansas State's favored right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So before I make my pick, there's a couple things I want to say. First of all, for those that don't know, it's pretty garbage. This is the final year of the Iowa State-Kansas State Farmageddon rivalry. Being uninterrupted, that is. I think they played like 108 consecutive seasons in a row. It's the longest consecutive rivalry game uninterrupted in college football at this moment. It's not a protected rivalry in the Big 12, so they don't play each other in 2026. I think it's garbage. It's bogus.
Damn.
Armageddon.
Damn.
Biggest rivalry game in college football. That's what everybody says. Forget about the Iron Bowl. Forget about the Red River rivalry, man. We're talking about Farmageddon.
Forget about the game.
The heart of America, fellas. And they're just screwing us. Anyway, I love my Iowa State Cyclones to win this one. Q, you kind of alluded to the fact that Iowa State always starts slow. I'm going to do what Iowa State fans would do just as a whole here, and I'm going to say, well, that's because we play Iowa week 2, so we don't want to show them anything on film. You don't really have a choice here. Like, you're playing Kansas State conference game week 1. Like, you got to throw the kitchen sink at them, come back with a win from Ireland, and move on. So give me Iowa State to win. I'll take a money line. Probably won't do anything crazy, but
Do you like the under or over?
What is it right
49.5.
That's hot.
I think that's about right, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, the final last year was 29-21. It's 50. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to get dicey.
Oh,
Taking the over?
another week 0 game we have here is Fresno State at Kansas. It's the opening of the new stadium over in Lawrence. Line is currently sitting at minus 12, and the over is at 50.5. That's a lot for week 1. I don't know if Fresno's
Not really.
gonna be able to put. I don't think Fresno's going to be able to score a whole lot. I'll take the over, and I'll take Kansas minus 14. I'll tease it up to get better odds there.
I like that, Mike. You got to be confident in your boys.
Love it. They got them at minus 12. Give me them at minus 14.
Do my Hawaii Rainbow Warriors play
They
week
do.
0?
They play
like they always do?
Stanford and Hawaii.
Oh, that's where
Hawaii's favored, though, too.
Yeah,
Hawaii
that's
is
where bottom
favored
of the
minus
pack-
2.5.
Hey, that's where bottom of the pack ACC teams come to die, man.
I'm not going to lie. That's great odds for Stanford, though. They're probably going to win.
I am a honorary Hawaii Rainbow Warrior fan only because they play week 0 every year. And when it's been a while, when you haven't seen a college football game in a while, I've been down pretty bad, so I always end up betting them. And then I always forget that they're never on nationally televised games. Like, they have their own Hawaii Rainbow Warrior TV network that you have to pay like $14.99 a month just to watch the game. So,
They're on CBS this year.
are they really?
Yep, 6:30
Look at that,
p.m.
Jake. You can watch them.
That's awesome. I was down bad with the fellas last year. We were betting it and we couldn't even watch it, so we were just like updating Google on the score.
It says 6:30. Wow. What is that, like noon? Is that like 12:30 there?
6:30 Central Time,
Yeah.
so that's 2:30 Hawaii time.
Damn.
Another game we have, I know Q's a big believer in this team. We have Idaho State against UNLV.
The Vandals?
Yeah.
No, Idaho State.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know you're going to try to sneak a joke in there somehow.
I wasn't. I just mixed them up with Idaho.
Q,
Okay.
thoughts on this game?
What's the spread?
There is not a spread out right now.
Oh, I mean, whatever it is, you can You can probably hammer it for UNLV. I don't think this should be close at all. So
Probably why there's not a spread out.
yeah.
And then
I can't see that going either other way.
Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is sitting at -10. The over-under is sitting at 60.5. Any thoughts?
No thoughts. Don't know anything about either team, but it's week 0, so you know I'm going to be watching it because I'm just itching. I'm fiending for college football right now.
Will you be touching it?
Absolutely not.
I might dabble. If there's anything that I learned from betting Group of 5 every single day of the week after like week 4, whenever they start playing Tuesday through Friday, it's that most of the home teams win. So I'll probably dabble on Western Kentucky spread.
Any parlays out there before we get out of here?
No, I'll probably make one for week 0. I don't have it cooked up yet, but I don't know.
Nothing for me at this time. I'll probably just do like an Iowa State money line. Maybe tease down the over, get some good odds. Iowa State will be plus money anyway.
Yeah, I think I'll do an Iowa State money line as well. You get them at plus, and then I'll take the Kansas at like 14.5, get that at plus, and run with it.
Yeah.
All right, boys. You guys have anything else?
Week 0 is finally upon us.
College football is back. We will see you guys next week. Make sure you like and subscribe. Click on the bell notification. Make sure you get all the notifications when we post a new video. And as always, rock chalk.
Deuces.